shit for a week, it seems, but the gods have answered my prayers. Far from whistling as it came out, the damn thing near recited the alphabet. Anyway, despite this success, the body is breaking down. And fuck. You probably don't need to know any of this, but at least you never had to experience the humbling of the body's gradual decline. No. Small graces. And fuck. There is a rattle in my chest again. Each cough is like the rattling of my soul, if I have a soul. If it wasn't stolen a long time ago by my father. Really, he and his fucking dovecot stole my childhood. I never talked to you much about that either. You were too young. I can't make it far beyond the front door these days. You would hardly recognise me. I looked out of the window to the sea today. I've been looking every day, of course, but not really seeing it. Since you were taken, I have instead been more preoccupied with the sky. But this looking to the Atlantic got me thinking back to my time whaling on it. And, you know, despite the extremities of its fury, I did also experience its calmness. And, as a result, I always viewed it as very definitely one thing. Like a person, like an island, like a sun. And fuck. I see in the newspaper that today's quotation is from the man Benjamin Franklin. There never was a good war or a bad peace. Well, he should be alive now to have a word with my chickens, and fuck. They don't know when a battle is won or a victory lost. At least, I learned that as I neared retirement, or really, after I lost you. That is what you gave me. A relocation of my anger, because I couldn't blame my father anymore. You gave me something else to blame. A plane falling out of the sky was my transformation. There have been times when I'm ashamed to say I could almost have thanked you. But maybe that is not what old Benjamin was alluding to. And fuck. You never got to see this new President of America. A fine man. He'll have some trouble making this world a village, as is his desire. I've told him so. Maybe a better place to start is an island. Still chews me up not knowing if you ever reached your prime. You never saw this decade or the one that came before. Maybe just as well. You see, the plane is in the news again, and this president is on the side of you and me. He is trying to stop the release of your bomber. I thought you should know. Yes, Obama and Scotland are fighting over the fate of the Libyan culprit. The cunt. The past is catching up on me, and the anger stirring, and I promised myself you wouldn't see that. I don't know my reasoning for putting this pen to paper. Maybe it is because if I speak it aloud, well, only Gorbachev the cheek will hear me, and he's a long way from giving me a conversation, let alone an egg. Or maybe that is just the vanity of an old man alone, stripped of his authority. But I am thinking back to that day. Back when I could still piss in a straight line. It was just about the perfect moment. Your record long jump. And fuck. It was. It was the one man's answer to the question posed. One man's conversation with the gods. And the world knew it. And this land, and these trees, and that ocean, and this man still does. I must drop the pen. I am tired. I have gripped the hand of the past too tightly tonight. It has its effects, and fuck. My poor boy. I say good night to you. Sleep well. Ivor.
Jake looked across the ever-darkening turf and could almost see his silhouetted younger self, having taken leave of his violin and placed it safely to one side, attempting to reenact his father's feat on this playing field. On those days and nights, he would make sure his only audience was the midges, then lunge in wonderment, trying to replicate the jump he had heard so much about, to form his father's elegance, his body shape, to fashion the 1970s hairstyle, to suspend himself in air. Then he would top off the whole charade by imagining himself holding aloft the golden games trophy that bore his father's name. And all, he now recalled, to the unlikely soundtrack of Sibelius's The Swan of Twanella on his Walkman. As Jake watched the film in his mind unspool, he smiled, his eyes filling up, and then he rolled to the side to